Spags, we're back. I hear you had a pretty controversial stream on Friday. Then we got the MILF Hunter news about Zach Wilson. This feels like a very splash play kind of day.
Yeah, apparently the bonks will be flowing freely today, but we are going to talk about Zach Wilson, the MILF hunting rumors. Is he hooking up with his mom's best friend? We'll talk about it right after this. We'll also dive into the puppy today, multi-tabling some puppy drafts because Lord knows that draft is going to fill up quickly over on Underdog Fantasy. So Pete, let's hit that intro. Hello, everyone, and welcome to another edition of Splash Play, the fantasy football podcast for every game under the sun. And once again, I'm Chris Spags, joined by your friend of mine, Pete Overzet, who I will say I'm grateful is with us today because I heard the full story about Pete's near car accident on Friday. And Pete, I am glad you're okay because that would have been really an opportune timing after announcing you're having a daughter.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, we also just got had an offer accepted on a house. So yeah, to leave my wife and our daughter in our future house, but most importantly, you all just kind of hanging here. I mean, could you imagine everyone? You'd be just getting Spag solo streams, 4 times a week. But maybe that's actually what the people want. But yes, no, thank you. It was a scary moment. Glad to have emerged unscathed.
I like that you put the future house as part of your list of concerns. Like, oh, I don't want to leave the future house. Like, it's going to be really sick over there. Going to have a nice studio space. And actually, are you going to build out like a real studio? Are you going to go full Joe Hoka?
I haven't figured out. I have a few options. I think just like initially, just because it's just going to be so crazy in August getting over there, I think I'm just going to use one of the bedrooms just to kind of like get stationed. But then there is some intriguing space in the basement that I think I could, maybe build out a little bit of a studio with. So yeah, I think that's my goal long term.
A fellow basement boy, but make sure you're following at Peter Overzet, following at Chris Spags, and following at Splash Play Pod. Of course, check out Football Outsiders. Or Football Outsiders Almanac is coming out, I believe, within the next 24 hours over footballoutsiders.com. A great piece to go along with some other books that are floating around out there that'll give you a read on the industry. But I'll personally vouch for the Football Outsiders. One of these guys put a lot of work into that, brings some different data perspectives, different angles that help you make smarter decisions for team futures betting, for fantasy, for best ball like we're drafting right now. So go check that out, footballoutsiders.com. And Pete, I guess, well, real fast, you said my stream on Friday was controversial. And I guess, Pete, controversy creates cash because that's our first 1,000-view video on the YouTube channel, the Splash Play YouTube, that I'll encourage people to subscribe to right now, Pete. But I think it's the zero RB thing. I think there's a lot of intrigue as though I'm some sort of mystic man talking about why I don't draft running backs, but can't argue with results.
Yeah, I was confused by some of the comments that someone said it was cumtastic. So, and then there was all the zero RB stuff. So I was having a hard time untangling the zero RB from your filth and smut.
So I opened with zero RB. I walked through the RotoViz Explorer, the fan ball construction that I talk about a lot, the roster construction tool on there. Of course, I use Pete's account, but I will personally say you guys should all buy your own RotoViz memberships for yourself to dig in on.
You can stop mentioning that you use my account every single time. It's not like anyone is going to call you out for not. I mean, this is just ridiculous.
Well, it's like a flex to be like, I got Pete's account. Like it's like I'm your little sugar boy with a little handkerchief in my back pocket.
Here is your ultimatum. If you mention that it's my account again, I will go change the password on you.
Oh no, it's one of those wacky passwords too, made by a password manager. There's no way I would ever be able to figure it out.
What, you think first of all, do I strike you like some idiot who has the same password for everything, and then on top of that strike you as an idiot who would give you the same password I use for everything?
Well, you have my underdog password, which, as you know, is a fully an actual password that you could probably figure out pretty quickly.
Yeah, I'm sure. I was actually able to log into OnlyFans with that same password, which I thought was interesting.
I hope not. Either way, though, the Friday stream is popping off. And yeah, Pete, what I did is the second hour of that one, that's the adults only hour where you could say whatever the hell you want. That's what we do on that stream over there. Of course, inspired by our good pal, Tim Robinson.
You know what? I feel like everything I need to know about what happened on this stream, you said they got 1,000 views. That must mean there was a few comments on there. I bet I can learn everything I need to know by checking out the comments. How many subs are we up to over there?
We are at, I think, 850 right now. So 150 short of being able to panhandle for super chats on that channel and make ones and ones of cents off of each video.
Oh, wow. Spags hits 1K, 65 likes, A joke even Spags couldn't finish. I'm shocked. Basketball counts as long as you can draft. Are you still harping about this underdog cardio club stuff? Jesus, Spags, get
No,
over it.
well, yeah, people bring it up. They're like, oh, but like Josh Frick called me out about not doing underdog cardio entries. Like I'd somehow, my man card had to be revoked for not hitting the Stairmaster while doing a draft.
Look at this freeze frame here. I
mean, that's a man that's going to spin some fine 0 RB yarns.
There you go. Okay. All right. So what was your controversial 0 RB takes?
Oh, it was just, talking about it in general. Like one of the comments on there was some guy like, I saw Jerick McKinnon, I immediately X'd out. And I'm like, okay, yeah, sorry, the guy who had an amazing end of season playoff run that was being used in really exciting ways. That'd be great for a half-point PPR, a full-point PPR. Yeah, sorry, he's in my 0 RB build. But I think it's just people seeing that thumbnail because the thumbnail is like, why I never draft running backs. So I'm like, I went full clickbait there. Obviously, I'm drafting running backs sometimes, but I'm not doing it early, Pete. I simply refuse.
That's fine. That's fine. I mean, 0 RB is still we'll be 80 years old and it'll still be a polarizing topic. I was thinking the other day that I do think this could be the last year before 0 RB goes fully mainstream because I do really believe a 0 RB team will win one of these big contests, whether it's underdog, a puppy, DK, any of them that are structured like these are with the 4 uncorrelated tournaments. I do really think a 0 RB team will take one of these down, and at that point it will go fully mainstream. And we're even seeing it too. Fantasy Mojo, who does a lot of FFPC data research and stuff, he had a thread out the other day looking at the FFPC rooms and noticing that there's now on average like 2 to 3 0 RB builds per draft, which didn't used to be the case. Like when Pat and I, first started doing our FFPC drafts, like if you went 0 RB, it was like 1 out every 15 drafts, you'd maybe see another 0 RB drafter. So it is slowly gaining more proliferation. And I do really think all it would take is one of these to win. And the cat will be out of the bag, so to speak. So I don't know. Soak it up while you can because the edge will dry up at some point.
So you're saying if you were to do it one year to go 80% 0 RB with all your drafts, Pete, this would be the year to do it, right? Some could say that.
I mean, look, I always think it's a good time to go 0 RB. I do actually in my puppy drafts, I've been going pretty extreme 0 RB, probably like 90% 0 RB in the puppy drafts. Obviously in Best Ball Mania 3, I'm playing the ADP game a little bit more early, but yeah, it is I think it's a dominant strategy, and I need people like the counselor and the anti-0 RB people to keep beating the drum for it, because one of the last talking points they have is that it's never won a big tournament. And once that goes away, they're out of ammunition.
Could you imagine, Pete, if so you've been doing this 0 RB stuff for a while. Of course, people get mad on ship chasing when you draft running backs. Could you imagine if I win millions of dollars with 0 RB on a team we didn't draft on this show?
No, I'd be happy for you, Pat Spags, because then I could, ride your coattails. It just reminded me of how long we've been talking about this, Spags. Look at this. I just remember this post and I wanted to see where it was from. I pulled this up. I said, a lot of big talk about 0 RB, and yet none of you are willing to tattoo it on your forehead like me. This is from June of 2016. This was literally 6 fucking years ago. My engagement wasn't as good here. But
like one of my tweets.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, this has been, it's as old as time. It never stops. I'm always down, going to the 0 RB well is always good for engagement.
All right, so I'm just going to put this comment on the screen real fast, Pete. Brandon saying, the last 30 minutes of my solo stream was the best stretch of fantasy football content he's ever consumed. So if that doesn't tantalize people to subscribe to the Splash Play channel, I don't know what does. And I swear to God, that's not my bird or Brandon Kramer. I don't own that NFT.
Yeah, no, I know Kramer there from the Deposit Kingdom Discord. And I mean, it hurts. I would have liked to have think that I've created, the best 30 minutes of fantasy football content, but I guess I've been passed up, Spags.
He was just waiting for cum jokes. That's what you get on the Friday solo streams. But let's speaking of cum jokes, I guess what a transition here to talk about the rumors and innuendos around Zach Wilson, the Jets QB. And I saw this one break actually on Reddit because the Barstool subreddit was posting about it. I guess one of their bloggers caught it pretty early, and then Zach Wilson DM'd the blogger, actually followed the blogger, who I believe is a Jets fan, then DM'd him like, hey, can you take this down? Then he replied to him and was like, no, well, I guess, yeah, I'll take it down for you. Hope you'll hook me up with some Jets stuff or whatever. And then Zach Zach Wilson unfollowed him. That was the end of it. But the rumors now, Pete, were being reported in the New York Post, and it even made the Fantasy Life newsletter, which I'm surprised that wasn't the headline on it. You had Alvin Kamara instead. This is easy clickbait.
Oh, trust me. I had a conversation with Elliot. I said I can clear a 60% open rate if you let me do the title, the NFL QB sleeping with his friend's mom. They decided to go the more prudish route. The fun police came out, and I was ready to go for it, Spags. Trust me, I was ready to go for it. And it was so funny that you say that too, because I put it as a link in the water cooler section. And the newsletter had been up for about an hour, and that link had already been clicked over 1,000 times.
Jeez.
Just that one. Because, it's like we're all on Twitter. We're all seeing it. But like the masses are probably haven't quite caught wind of this story yet. And it is probably one of the more salacious, kind of like juicy clickbait stories we'll get in the NFL fantasy universe.
So I'll read the headline, which actually was linked in the Fantasy Life newsletter if you want to pull that up in your email to play along at home. DailySnark.com saying Zach Wilson scrubbed his old girlfriend, Abby Gile, from his Instagram account earlier this year. In return, she's now scrubbed one of his best friends from his life. Gile is now dating his former best friend and BYU roommate, Washington Commanders wide receiver Dax Milne. Fans immediately took to her Instagram and blasted her on her latest picture. One person called her a quote-unquote homie hopper, and Gile fired back by exposing that Zach Wilson slept with his mom's best friend. And you can see on the screen there, the screen capture from Instagram, Spencer Davidson saying homie hopper, and she replies, he was sleeping around with his mom's best friend. That's the real homie hopper, with crying emojis. So Abby Gile airing it out, Pete, and no games on the schedule this year between the Washington Commanders and the Jets, unfortunately, but a dicey situation no matter, even if there isn't the mom hooking up stuff.
Do you think I'm just wondering. Yeah, I guess she's free to go rogue here. It is funny how sometimes this happens. It's like she knows, or I would hope she knows once she makes this comment publicly, like this story's going viral, versus if she just like did a post that was like, here's why Zach and I broke up and what he's been doing or whatever. So I think that was interesting that you have this news bomb like buried within a comment on Instagram. But the homie hopper line is very good.
It's honestly one of those things where I guess some drama there, it seems like. And the question, Pete, as we always try to tackle on this show, putting everything through the prism of fantasy football, does this make Zach Wilson's stock go up or down? Because I have a take here, but I'm curious about your thoughts first.
About for fantasy?
Yes.
Well, I mean, trust me, if you've been on Twitter, all of Jets Nation is really excited because Zach Wilson's got that dog in him. They got that dog in him. I also love, too, because this poor Abby Gile put it out there thinking that, he'd get all this blowback and all of this stuff. And all the Jets fans are like, yeah, this is our dude, the MILF hunter. So, yes, I think, people do have question marks about Zach Wilson heading into year 2. They've equipped him with a lot of weapons. And, this is there's a long history of Playboy New York Jets quarterbacks. And I think this kind of cements him as part of that Mount Rushmore.
So I think that you're talking, I think in particular, Mark Sanchez was at one point dating Kate Upton. I think was really being the man about town when he had that 1 or 2 good year run for the Jets. I think for Zach Wilson, though, like everybody's going to say stock up. I'm actually going to go the opposite way. I'm going to say stock down. And this is me embracing my inner Stephen A. Smith, where, yeah, like it's great that he's hooking up with MILFs. Very fun to call him the MILF hunter. I'm sure the T-shirt's going to be slinging left and right in the MetLife parking lots over and over again. But I think from my perspective, like, you don't want a guy hooking up with MILFs like Jimmy Garoppolo. When he first got his taste of fame, he was hooking up with a MILF porn star. Didn't work out for him. Overall, Zach Wilson, you want him focused on the game. You want him to be hungry and out there. And I think if you're trying to bend to the whims of a 45-year-old woman from Laguna Beach, I feel like, Pete, that's just not where your headspace needs to be heading into what could be a breakout year.
No, I'll go the other take on it, and not for like he's got that dog in him. I mean, if anything, this is more seamless, right? Because we don't want him for fantasy purposes out going to all the New York City bars, taking in the nightlife. I mean, this is like his friend's mom's over. They're like baking cookies. They're playing Candyland, and then his mom goes to bed, and he hooks up with her, and then moves on. Like if anything, this domesticates him further and provides less distractions to him in the big city. I think this is optimal for his football play.
You think he's playing Candyland with it? Is she also getting stuck in a dryer and then she can't get out and needs Zach Wilson's help?
I'm going to pre-bonk myself for something I'm about to say here. I'll say it and then I'll bonk myself. And I'm sure you guys have all done it. I started trying to Google to try to find a photo of Zach Wilson's mom or friend. Everyone's seen Zach Wilson's mom, but the friend. I mean, has anyone found this yet?
No,
Has a
I don't think
photo
there's been
surfaced?
any crumbs out there. No, it is not available yet. I mean, anything you'd have to spin would just be from your imagination at this point.
And trust me, I imagined it. And for that,
You know who's a noted fantasy football personality and also a noted MILF who follows me on Twitter, Pete? I'll give you a guess. Honestly, I don't think you're a porn star guy, so you're not
George Kittle.
Yeah, George Kittle. Oh, yeah, famous MILF porn star George Kittle, which is why I'm always drafting him in the elite tight end range.
No, go ahead. Who is it?
Lisa Ann, who converted her career from pornography to fantasy analyst on Sirius XM to back to pornography, I think. And then she's like a life coach. There's a lot going on in the Lisa Ann business, but the Lisa Ann business is booming for my follower count currently.
I actually am thinking of taking a similar trajectory from the opposite. So going from fantasy football analyst to porn star and then inevitably coming back to being a fantasy analyst.
So it all ties back to my concept I pitched you on last week of nude fantasy football content on OnlyFans.
Mathology says, "Oh, I did a deep dive into Mrs. Wilson Instagram photos and only found 2 suspects."
I think we need to know Mathology, our resident horn dog, who I would say steers me into some unpleasant areas, Pete, including on Friday's stream where he showed me Matt Corral's girlfriend, who is curvaceous to say the least in a way that was almost uncomfortable to have on a YouTube video. If anybody's going to figure out who this is, like Mathology might be the best detective we have.
I know. Mathology. Did you see in the Splash Play channel in the Deposit Kingdom Discord, he was sharing they were building an outdoor shower at their home, and I'm jealous. I want an outdoor shower, but the reason he gave for it was to have unique places to bonk away from the kids.
Apparently one of the guys, Ross of the Friday stream, is saying his daughter is now saying bonk, and like bonk's been on the internet for like years now. I think us co-opting bonk could be like a really big win for the Splash Play brand.
Let's just be clear. You're the co-opting of bonk. I sometimes get pulled into this cesspool, but I'm still trying to be, above the fray here.
Do you think we could sell some bonk shirts on the Peter Overzet store? Could we make
I bet we could. Yeah.
I wouldn't mind a bonk shirt. I'd wear one. I'm wearing a DraftKings shirt, to be clear. Still very brand loyal to underdogs. I've been spamming some DraftKings drafts. They sent me a t-shirt and a hat and gave me $1,000 for reasons unclear.
See, this is bullshit. Like everyone, I do the Swolecast. All of those guys have the DraftKings VIP reps. Everyone's getting invited to go sit box seats, getting swag, getting $1,000. I get shit. I slave over, talking about my DFS lineups every Monday morning in season. What do I have to do, DraftKings, to get some of this?
They know you're bought and paid for by Underdog, by big Underdog. They won't give you the shekels here. But I will say I did figure out my DraftKings issue too of rooms not filling. Apparently it doesn't update immediately to tell you when people are entering in. So I've been like, 4 out of 12 again. And that's been what I've been doing on DraftKings, but I've been spamming them there up to 25 entries on DraftKings as well. So kudos to them. Thank you for giving me $1,000. I'll take $1,000 from anybody, Pete.
Wow. That's impressive. $1,000. That's a good hourly rate, and you don't even do that much shilling for them.
No, I've been very brand loyal, so I hope it pays off. It's honestly probably that I didn't play enough NBA DFS on the stretch, and they're like, okay, we got to get this guy back on the hook, man. He's been just handing it back to us week after week since that big win last summer. And no, it's today we're going to give our money, Pete, to Underdog, of course. We're going to multi-table the puppy, and you can see Breathing Fantasy Football literally is dying to do 2 drafts at the same time with us, almost like he's horn-donging it up, trying to get 2 drafts at once. But either way, I'm excited to have people in with us, Pete, and excited for you to control the multi-tabling, right?
Yeah, well, we're going to see how this goes. All right, so we're going to hop into 2 puppy drafts here, and let's go back, and we will get 2 windows open here and see how this goes. Where are my drafts?
Also, I
now,
love
this is the problem.
Go ahead.
What's that?
The Brick HUD on your screen. So I have to say, Brick gave me the login. I tried to set it up, Pete. I could not figure it out.
We did a tutorial on Friday's show for.
Okay, good. I didn't get to watch that one yet. I'll have to do that because I uploaded it, did the Chrome extension thing, and was like, "Well, this isn't working." Got very defeated, and then gave up sadly.
It happens, Spags. It happens.
Brick actually offered to help too, but that's the kind of person I am where I'm like, I'd rather just not use it than have to send a DM to Brick, shamefully being like, I couldn't figure out this thing that you laid out that seems pretty intuitive to set up.
So here's the deal. One influencer won 12 and one influencer won 6 in our 2 drafts here.
Oh, you got the 6 this morning too, right?
I think that sounds right. Yeah.
Yeah. I like the 6th spot because just gotta hope somebody takes Derrick Henry, though maybe not in our rooms. But honestly, the puppies could very much not be fully our audience, and that wouldn't surprise me at all.
Yeah. I recognize some names here. Wait, are these the same 2? No. No, we're right.
Yeah, you're good.
Okay. Yeah, no, I was like, I think did a couple people get in both these drafts? Or maybe I was just tweaking. Whatever. The badge brigade is out today.
We gotta show off how to multi-table too, Pete, because I mentioned on the Friday show, I was listening to the Spike Week interview that Beimford did with Pat Corain. I say interview like it was like a sit-down thing that Corain had to address some allegations. But I guess you texted him while they were doing that stream about me calling him out for multi-tabling or what turned out to be multi-tabling. And I felt bad that I interrupted that stream with just like they were like, oh, Spags is trashing you. I was like, I'm not trashing Pat. I just found it perplexing.
No, you were trying to dig up dirt. This is your new MO. You've just fully regressed back to your barstool days, beefing, horn dogging it up. There you go. Eckler goes.
Yes.
So we get Jamar Chase.
I love that. Whenever that happens, it feels like it's obviously like Jamar Chase could have things go wrong. He could not be worth it, whatever. That feels like free money when Jamar Chase falls to you at 6.
Yes, free money. Exactly. Everyone should just pay you immediately out. There should be a cash out option.
They should, yeah, and everybody should send me $1,000 when I get Jamar Chase at 6. You hear me, DraftKings? FanDuel, you got any $1,000 to go sending around? Here, Pat McAfee's getting a few of those.
Let's see. Joey says if you don't go for the Wilson Milne correlation, is Milne in the player pool? Wow, Dax Milne in the player pool there. Time to get this guy at ADP.
Do we find Eskimo Bro? Like, I think that's not allowed for multiple reasons to say that anymore. But like Eskimo Bros, Homie Hopper, like Homie Hopper sounds both classy and like scandalous at the same time.
I miss it. Eskimo Bros got canceled.
Yeah, because Eskimos, you can't say. You can't
Hang on, we're on the clock here.
Yeah. Let's see. I gotta go full screen.
Are we just gonna go full 0 RB in this one?
I think we should, Pete. As I've put thumbnails out there, I lovingly Photoshop a bunch of wide receivers and tight ends in there because that's what I believe in. That's what you made me believe in.
I'm fine with that, but let's do Debo over Evans.
Yeah, that's fine. I know that's one of your takes.
That's one of your little takes.
I agree with you. I've been taking Debo over Evans in some drafts because I thought you made a compelling argument.
Thank you. Yeah. No, we're going to stick with our streak. We're going to do 2 0 RB drafts. Who gives a shit about ADP? No value hounding. We did that this morning. Just pure ideological cum bucket draft strategy right here.
It is funny though. Like we talked a lot about it on the Friday stream. So, I don't want to keep beating the same drum for people that watch both, but like a lot of smart people really beating the running back drums. Oh, Debo in both, huh?
Debo in both. I wanted to leverage against myself in the other draft, but then I decided.
You want to make a collective work between the 2 drafts, but double the Debo, Yeah. I'm not going to argue it. I got a lot of Debo, man.
Tyler says, pussy pals. I mean, this show is completely off the rails. I mean, the reason, Davis still always calls, have you heard the Cordero Patterson and Davis Paddock?
Yeah. Run the randomizer. Yeah.
Yeah. But, I guess Homie Hopper, is pretty mommy Hopper says,
there's gotta be a good one in there. Like the mom's friend thing. I don't know. I just don't know what the phraseology would be, but there's got to be some great branding for it that we just don't know.
Yeah, I guess we'll have to work on it.
Yeah, I think there's websites branded with similar concepts that we could probably find and research at our own leisure whenever we please.
Breathing fantasy football, literally. Yes, we are literally in 2 puppy drafts right now, and we somehow missed you. It is honestly absurd how quickly these puppy drafts fill. I mean, I don't think I've registered for one that's literally taken longer than 10 seconds to fill.
Yeah, I mean, you said they were 40% full this morning. Like, they must be 40% now, but I think you had 37% on your stream this morning. So, like, they're going crazy. I thought it was like a super flex thing. I didn't know that people were just dying to put it into a $5 tourney.
No, it's the price point. I mean, $5 is just full blast off mode for everyone.
I have to say that's been part of why I've been spamming DraftKings a bit more, is because I don't think I have a shot to fill this puppy, but I do think enough people are playing the puppy instead currently, so I'll have even stupider people in my best ball drafts on DraftKings, and that's the hope.
Why are you so caught up on you don't want to play in a tournament if you can't max it?
Because I think it's minus EV.
I know.
But like, there's still enough people maxing it. Like, there's still the equivalent of a DFS tournament amount of people maxing it, and like that's not good in DFS. So why would it be good in best ball?
Hang on real quick.
I know get DJ Moore. Oh, but
Yeah, DJ Moore is really screaming up, but I'm happy to do it. I like
he
DJ
goes
Moore.
mid-20s a good amount. So at 30, I feel like it's actually not that bad.
Yeah, I get the like for DFS way more. But like all these draft rooms are dynamic and there's different rooms. It'd be like the same logic of being like, oh, I see one crazy draft where someone got all this ADP value and I'm not going to play in this tournament anymore. I just think there's too many like unique permutations to think that having one bullet versus 150 is any different relative to your expected value for that single team.
Okay. No, I think that's a reasonable way to look at it. And I think for me, it's more that I assume that a lot of people are just playing on underdog right now and playing at the same price point and not playing on DraftKings. So I think it made sense to me strategically, but I could play some puppies. I have no issue with that. Speaking of, Pete, we drafted one player who it turns out is currently my highest exposed receiver, which surprises me because that was not the case last week. Do you know who it is?
So you're saying we drafted them. I'm going to guess it's DJ Moore.
No, Debo. I don't think I have like any shares of DJ Moore. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I mean, Debo's one of my highest too.
See, I've got how much DJ Moore? I have 7% DJ Moore, so more than I would have thought. No pun intended. But I have 20% Debo, and then just under 18% Rashad Bateman, and just under 18% T Higgins. So they both passed Treylon Burks as my number 4.
I want to circle back to the not maxing thing, and I actually think I would maybe buy the argument a little bit more for Best Ball Mania 3. Like, say you were only going to do like a set amount, and it's like, oh, I don't want to do those right now because like the dynamics of the draft rooms and stuff are going to change so much by the time September gets here and we get all this information from training camp, all of that, to where you could feel like you're legitimately at a disadvantage. Whereas these puppies where this is going to fill in like 1 week and everything is pretty set in stone as far as like the player pockets, I really don't think it's near as bad there. We're on the board here. Which wide receiver do you want?
I would say Sutton, and I don't mind taking ATN if we want to do a running back, but I could also reach for Waller.
No, we're actually let's do Waller. Get that
Okay.
Let's go full on.
Okay.
This is one thing I want to bring up too after we pick. Let's see. Do we want to just do Gabe Davis here?
Yeah, that works.
One thing I've been thinking about a lot too lately, and I think I mentioned it to you, that the one thing to be careful about when you do a ton of zero RB builds is just like making sure that you're not always funneled to the exact same running backs when you detour. Like I mentioned how last year I had so many teams that had Travis Etienne and Javonte Williams just because it was like, all right, got my running backs now, or my wide receivers. Now I'm going to head over and grab a running back in the 5th or 6th round. And so I like, part of the reason I like doing like a modified anchor or like a full zero RB punt till like 9th or 10th round is because it gets you into different pockets of players and textures to your zero RB lineups without the exact same players. Because like the reason we're doing zero RB is because we want to trust the structure to help us out. It's not that we're so confident that ETN is like the best pick in the world in the 4th and 5th round. So that is my one thing when you do a bunch of the same structure, like make sure you're bending it and pushing it in different ways. So you're not just reliant on a couple of specific running backs to depend or, to be kind of the deciding factor for your entire season.
Yeah, I think you said that you definitely called me out of that at one point. I think with the rookies that I posted the one draft I did where I just drafted all rookie backs. You were like, well, you want to get a balance here of like this guy and that guy. So I've been trying to kind of flatten out my zero RB exposures where I've talked about Tyler Algier, still my number 1 back. But like I have Naheem Hines, number 2. JD McKissick is down number 3 for me. Khalil Herbert, Ronald Jones. Like I'm getting a lot of all these guys. All these guys are over 15% for me. Then I have a bunch more dudes over 10%, including Chase Edmonds, Cordero Patterson, Breece Hall. I have over 10%. So I think that's a smart approach. Like I think in FF Doom, I think on my Friday draft did like a really nice zero RB build where you got to mix the different characters because like otherwise you're always going to end up with like Madison, Ronald Jones, Naheem Hines, and that probably that could be good, but it's not likely to be good because that's going to be everybody's zero RB build.
Yeah, exactly. And Hayden Winks has also posted some data about how even like in the ideological camps, the people who traditionally draft running backs early, they're drafting the same types of wide receivers later. The people who go zero RB are traditionally drafting the same types of players later. And so it's just being like, yes, we think we have an edge, but it would be like if everyone who we have this collective hive mind that's all doing the same thing, then your edge, I think, is mitigated a little bit. We're on the clock here. Um, I mean,
Mm.
uh,
Brees Hall wouldn't be the worst thing because there's no elite
yeah,
tight ends left.
let's do I'm fine to do Hall here. Slide. I mean, Hall at pick 54. Gosh. Yeah, no tight ends there.
It's crazy that he used to be in the 60s. Like I got a lot of my Brees Hall in like the 60-ish range, and like he's gonna be. You got to think he's going to be like in the 40s at least by the time like camp hits and there's some positive reports about him and like, oh, is Michael Carter getting completely phased out? Like it takes one of those and Brees Hall is going to be a third rounder.
My thesis, yeah, I haven't backed down from that. Like you kind of look at, you can kind of see the dead zone here. Kamara's still slipping a little bit, but he's going to push up as this kind of suspension risk gets evaporated here. And then I really think it would not shock me at all if Brees Hall flips even ETN and James Conner by the start of the season, and that he kind of becomes this quintessential bridge running back between like the dead zone and these running backs that are slowly getting pushed up here at like the 2-3 turn.
Is James Conner maybe undervalued a little bit?
It's so it's he's like the most classic quintessential dead zone back ever, where he's in an awesome offense. His projection is just going to look so good. And yet I do really worry about, Eno's getting a ton of pub. They bring in Darrell Williams, who can catch passes. James Conner was very efficient in the red zone last year, so I worry about a little regression there. He's not a guy I want to full fade, but I think you want to pick your spots. Him sliding to pick 39 here seems like an awesome time to grab him versus when he was more going like mid to late third.
I feel like to me, profiles kind of like a Leonard Fournette with a bit more injury risk and a bit more just, things running different in that offense where you mentioned the touchdowns, like definitely could regress for him. But I feel like he's a guy I'm just not getting enough of, especially given how much Arizona, Atlanta I have, that it feels like a blind spot, but it also like he could get hurt in week 2 and then, or just be ineffective and it wouldn't be a shocker.
So I say we definitely scoop up Cam Akers here, almost 20 picks after ADP. This will give us kind of like a unique room. And then, I mean, I'm down for Amon Ra. Otherwise, what do you think?
Yeah, I would say either Amon Ra or we take one more of the running backs and then punt it a little bit further. But I think we could use one more receiver. See, Amon Ra makes sense. Yeah.
And this is where I honestly get really excited with the zero RB builds, because generally in most drafts you'll get at least one of these running backs that just really slide. Normally for me it's like a Damian Harris type. I've gotten like Damian Harris like 20 picks after ADP. This one feels pretty unique to get Cam Akers at pick 60. And so I like taking advantage of those times here. All right, we're back on the clock over here. If we want to do Schultz to get that tight end, we could also tack on an Elijah Moore here, or we could just stack Chase with Burrow.
I think let's do Schultz. Let's do Schultz. That's because it's going to fall off pretty decently if we don't take him. I think Burrow would have been close for me. We're not going to get Burrow coming back. Yeah, maybe there's a chance.
Yeah, I think I probably would have leaned Burrow there if I thought it through more, but I don't think Schultz was bad necessarily.
There's a chance Burrow could fall. I don't think there was a chance that Schultz would have fallen back to us, but he does fall sometimes. It just feels like in this room, I don't think that was going to happen.
Yeah. James says that we were in a puppy draft where I sniped him on Elijah Moore when he was trying to do a full Ole Miss, had AJBDK. I'm sorry, I didn't get the memo about your Ole Miss correlation.
Yeah, that's honestly a pretty good receiver group, though. Yeah, like for Ole Miss, like I guess I knew in my head all those guys were Ole Miss guys, but that could be like one of the best college trios. USC though has some pretty good ones too. I will say, no bias.
Isn't Dawson Knox Ole Miss too?
I think that sounds right.
I'm pretty sure he was. Let me double check. Yeah. So that's who you got to tack onto your Ole Miss stacks.
Man, that is like a very compelling group. I do wonder what the best like group of that could, because USC's would be Amon Ra, Drake London. So you're probably going Michael Pittman.
Well,
So like going
Alabama, you
younger.
could just dominate with.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, Bama would be problematic.
Oh, did this finally get announced? I was wondering when that was gonna leak.
Oh, well, Pete knows more than I do. I did know his contract was coming up, but I'm surprised they did not throw whatever at him to keep him.
Yeah.
Pete can't say anything. I am surprised by it. We love Matthew Berry, of course. I guess we don't talk about it publicly much, Pete, but part of the reason we started Splash Play was in the hopes of doing it with Matthew Berry, and then things kind of didn't align right, and then you ended up working with him with Fantasy Life.
Yeah. Yep. Very excited about all the stuff we got going on at Fantasy Life. And I'm excited that I think Matthew's going to be able to be a bigger part of it too now with this new switch up.
Oh boy, some refracted spotlight for Pete coming if you're part of the exclusive home of Matthew Berry.
I don't even know what leaked yet, so I don't feel comfortable. It's
Okay,
not
fair,
my
sorry.
stuff.
I'm not trying to put you in a bad spot. It's interesting though, like media wise, like I would say for me, I'm talking from my perspective, like Matthew Berry is the most influential guy in the industry. Like I know people want to nickel and dime some of the Pete, you're on the clock, so let's go. Let's do that first.
Let's do Lance. How about?
Ooh, always down to do Lance.
Yeah. Lance with our Samuel there makes sense. And that's why if passing on Burrow, if you know Lance is there, is a much nicer consolation prize. If you miss out on Lance and pass on Burrow, it hurts a little more.
Yeah, so I'm with you on that. I'm also getting tagged by our guy, Slapnick Prospect, saying that I guess there's an ESPN blurb about the Seahawks having conversations about Jimmy Garoppolo. So lots of big news on ESPN, I guess, currently. And I don't like that one. If they did their film work, they should know this is not an upgrade, guys. Don't trade for Jimmy Garoppolo.
Wait, you're telling me that you're worried about Jimmy Garoppolo, but you're not worried about Geno Smith?
No, because Geno, I think if Geno starts, they're going to be like, okay, we know what this is. Like, let's see what Drew Lock can do. But if they bring in Garoppolo, it's like, oh, cool, we're paying him $20 million a year for some reason. Like, I'm sure they'll get a discounted contract like Carolina got with Baker. But it's still like you're investing enough money there where it could be a problem.
Yeah. I mean, I'm telling you, Spags, Pete Carroll's going to just have zero patience for Drew Lock shenanigans. It's not going to happen.
I think he's going to love him. He was saying he would have been one of the top QBs drafted this year. He loves running. Like, I think Drew Lock could run 10 times a game in that offense. And the rest of it is just going to be check downs and deep balls. And like, that's to me, the ideal fantasy QB.
That actually might be the only way that Drew Lock could remain the quarterback if they went to just a full option style offense where Drew Lock never ran the ball and he just ran the option with Rashad Penny and Kenneth Walker 20 times a game.
Which would be pretty sick, would it not? Fantasy wise and in reality, like it'd be intriguing to see that, like an option offense where it's just like Drew Lock either running it, handing it off, or throwing it 50 yards downfield with no in between.
And you think, but in this scenario, you need to convince me that Drew Lock is a better runner than Geno Smith.
He's absolutely better. That's unfair. He's a young Josh Allen. We've said it many times on here, but great head on him. He's not chasing MILFs out there. He's got a lovely gal who's an appropriate age for himself. Drew Lock is a king among men.
Yes, I'm sure. All right, let's actually pay attention to what is going on here. Oh my God, look at this 151 build here. Whoo.
Not a good draft, I would say. Derrick Henry, man, like this is Derrick Henry, Zeke. I guess he's got the correlation though with Derrick Henry and Zeke.
I have a guy that I want to take here. We'll see if Dreamtown USA allows it. But I think that Treylon Burks would be a wonderful pick for us here.
I'm never going to be opposed to Treylon Burks. I think he is getting adversely steamed, and I think, as a fellow asthmatic, I think he's going to get back on track at some point.
As a fellow. All right. Oh, he goes rookie, but not our rookie.
Okay. Oh, this is...
I will say we've gotten fortunate the way our picks have lined up timing-wise. We really haven't had an on-the-clock at the same time situation yet.
No, I think having the double picks, the double tap here helps. I would take Russ.
Russ for that stack definitely makes sense. What else are we looking at here? I mean, if we want to do the slide again, I mean, Antonio Gibson at this price is not bad.
Yeah, I mean, it's either that or
MVS with our bring back.
MVS, yeah.
Let's I feel like this room might continue to give us a lot of running back values. You want to do MVS?
Yeah, I think so.
All right. Yeah, this is a piss boy room for sure.
Yes, I would agree with that. It's a lot of running back values there, and like I'd like if Gibson's gonna fall that much, like I have enough McKissick, I have enough Brian Robinson to justify taking Antonio Gibson. He falls so much; he'll fall 20 spots in some drafts, and I don't know how he's not worth it at that point.
Yeah. Well, that's how I was listening to Sean Siegel on a recent podcast. It was either Stealing Bananas with Gretch or Overtime with Column, and he was talking about how like just allowing yourself to be price sensitive when you get exposure to these guys. It's like Gibson and Akers aren't our favorite picks, but it's like it's the Dos Equis guy. I don't always draft Cam Akers, but when I do, it's 20 picks after ADP because then that mitigates the risk, right? You're like, I don't like him at this current price, so I want to get my exposures at the good prices. And so that's why I'm happy to scoop those guys up because it's like if I'm not taking Cam Akers now, I'm never taking him. And it's like I don't, I think he's a little pricey, but 20 picks after, maybe now we're kind of in a sweet spot there where that risk is offset.
It just feels like you're going to naturally have a different build then with that same guy, like which I think would appeal to me in terms of just getting unique.
I'm definitely down for Lockett past 100, get our little Jets Seattle correlation.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, I would say if we didn't have Brees Hall, I think Singletary is a pretty nice, pseudo anchor back later in the draft. But I think this team is shaping up nicely. It doesn't look dissimilar from some others I've drafted, but I think like we got nice values that are like I love the wide receiver group.
You said I like that you're doing the Denny thing in a zero RB bill. I love your wide receivers. I'm a little worried about your running backs.
I mean, I love Brees Hall though. Like, if Zach Wilson isn't being ruined by this MILF Hunter situation, if he's not completely consumed by making love to every woman over the age of 40, let's say, then he'll be in a good situation. But I think Brees Hall, like value wise, he's getting really frothed up, and I think it's only going to get worse.
Yeah. I love this. I love people saying Burks is ass because they read one blurb about him having asthma trouble in fucking July.
I will say 2 data points with Burks that I think make me feel really good about him. He was the best wide receiver in the draft in terms of fighting off press coverage, which does tend to correlate really well with the NFL thing. I think that was a Sports Info Solutions data point. And then also like he was a college dominator. He had the biggest share of his team's yardage in college, I think, out of all the receivers as well. So those are 2 pretty big signifiers to me. And then you pair in the no AJ Brown, no Julio, like if Burks is, behind the group just because of the asthma stuff, it's not great. But like he profiles the guy who could be like DK Metcalf, who could be AJ Brown, who could be any of those guys. Like if they give him a chance and he gets the burn.
Yeah, he's a smash pick at these prices, and he'll be. I was talking about it on Best Ball Breakfast this morning. He'll be going where London is going by the time the season starts. There really shouldn't be much of a difference between their ADP.
Yeah, and like Westbrook-Ikhine is one of those guys too, where it's like, oh, like he flashed a little bit last year and he could come in and be that guy. But it's like they invested in Treylon Burks, and Treylon Burks is like comes with a higher pedigree and better size and all that stuff. And it's like that to me is one of those bets that I would have made in previous years where I would have been like, yeah, Westbrook-Ikhine kind of showed enough. Like, let's get him. And it's like, no, Treylon Burks is probably the right answer because everything points you to him being the right answer.
Yeah. All right, hang on. Where are we? All right, we're actually this one might be close. I might have jinxed us here. We might be having 3 picks at the same time coming up here.
Oh no. Well, that's fine. The double tap though gives you the luxury because you could put one in the queue, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah, this is our double tap coming up here. And then this one's gonna actually happen first.
Okay. Yeah, we'll have plenty of time.
So let's see. I mean James Cook looks like is a good pick here.
Yeah, I think this is the one where we could have had Singletary. So yeah, James Cook, I think, makes sense for my broken brain logic too, where we passed on Singletary. So now we're getting Cook because we think Cook is the one who wins that backfield.
All right, now we are back on the clock, and our thesis was correct here to sit. We can have our choice of Seattle running back, which I think looks good.
Or we could take Carr with I guess we could take Carr with either of those picks. I think we should take Carr with one of them.
Yeah, I'm fine to put Carr in the queue here. And then, yeah, I think we should take a running back. I think we can pick. I'm inclined to take Ken Walker here, 10 picks past ADP.
Yeah, I like Walker. I like Walker at ADP, so as a discount, I think that's perfectly fine by me.
Yeah. All right. So this team we're good at quarterback. We're going to be building out our zero RB room. Wide receiver Lamb, Samuel, Sutton, Amon Ra, MVS. Obviously, not a ton of other backdoor stack options with Carr, with Russ Wilson. I guess we could have considered further punting RB2 and taking Tim Patrick there. But we also still have the Akui Boonham and the Hamler out. So I kind of am glad we took the running back there.
I like that we kind of ended up with an AFC West build too, because that is definitely the division that we've talked on this show that I find really appealing to get a bunch of targets from, and hope that just ends up being shootout after shootout. And on paper, like that could be the one. Any division could be that, but like the AFC West, those QBs, you got to think has the best shot at that.
Yeah. All right. This one, let's see. The thing about the Hamler exposure is that's my BBM3 exposure. My Hamler puppy 2 exposure is pretty bad. Not
I
near
get a lot
enough.
of Hamler on DraftKings where he goes in the 20th every single time, because I don't know why. Like it just doesn't change. The ADP doesn't move on Hamler on there.
I mean, let's see. Madison definitely makes sense. Anything else I'm missing here?
No, I mean Madison. Oh, we could take Rashad White if we wanted another running back, but I would say Madison or White to go with DJ Moore.
Yeah, I think we might be able to get. Might as well just play the ADP game on it, see if he comes back.
Yeah, that's fair. So, Rashad White not DMing MILFs. He's DMing fantasy analysts to ask for respect. I think that's the kind of guy you want to put your hat behind, not Zach Wilson horn dogging it up, browsing.
This is why your thesis is completely wrong. It's not like he's out on, a MILF dating app, running around. Like this was put on a silver platter, brought to him, zero work, zero effort.
But she didn't say like, oh, they're dating. She said that they're like hooking up or whatever. It's like if Zach Wilson, like that's not the only MILF on his roster. You know how fucking hard it is to deal with like to deal with older women, Pete? It's not as easy as a roster of 20-year-olds. They're grown women. They have needs.
I know, but then also there's the maternal element of it. She's probably making sure he's, getting all of his greens and getting into bed on time. Hey, God, have we talked about, do you think this was news to Zach Wilson's mom, or do you think she knew about this?
Oh, I think she knew. I think she knew about it. I think she's cool with it and like maybe kind of into it.
Kind of into it. No, but I mean, I think it would be pretty hard. I don't know how you would get that past it. Your son and your best friend are hooking up and you don't have any kind of idea about that. That seems unlikely.
I mean, she's like a weird character herself. Like there were some rumors about her that I'm forgetting the exact context of, but like she's done some interesting things in her life. And, I think she likes being young and hip. And I think what better way to do that than to kind of tether your life to your young hip son.
And there is all the kind of the big Mormon energy kind of running through all this, the kind of, polygamous bent and all of this stuff. So it does kind of check out from that element.
Yeah, it's like a sister wives thing. I don't know. You like your mommy wants her son to have a nice partner who's going to take care of him. She doesn't want her going to some Instagram influencer wannabe.
Man. And then did you see all the photos everyone was circulating of, I guess, Zach Wilson? Was it high school prom or some Baylor prom? Who knows? But he took it was when he was in high school prom. He took 2 college cheerleaders as his dates. So, I mean, he's always had that dog in him, Spags.
I mean, that's the Bill Simmons thing that he would talk about with like Mark Sanchez and who's taking the keys at QB around the clock. But yeah, that's the guy who's taking the keys. The guy who's got the mills. And
Want to do Spiller?
I like Spiller. I love this young running back room. I'm never going to be mad at a rookie RB room.
Yeah, I mean, this is the anti-Zach Wilson room of running backs here. Way
Zach
too
Wilson
young.
would see these running backs go, ew, yucky.
Okay, we're on the clock again here.
Dameon Pierce. I don't know. Maybe Myers here just to get one more wide receiver.
I was gonna say we should probably get a couple more wide receivers in this room.
Could also do Kmet for the Detroit bring back.
Yeah, although the only thing is that boxes us out of Akui Boonham later, but I don't know if Akui Boonham's going to make it back to us.
Yeah. I could do Akui Boonham if we wanted to reach.
I think we probably just take a running back here. Pierce or Spiller.
We just took Spiller. Let's take Pierce.
All right.
I've been forcing myself to take Pierce just because like I feel like I have a blind spot for him, but he always falls in drafts enough, and
I know.
he's a rookie, like, and he's in a spot that he should be getting touches.
I know. Yeah, it's so weird to me. There's a few players that seem to reliably slip, and I'm like, how is their ADP their ADP if they slip in every draft I'm in? Like Cordero Patterson, Damian Harris, um, Pierce. Like those are a few that I feel the running backs they just always slip 10 picks past ADP.
Yeah. I think I was thinking about it a little bit today because you might have said on one of your streams recently about Damian Williams and like maybe he just ends up the lead back. Like I think I got to start taking some Damian Williams just because I have so much Algier and so much Cordero now that like that's the one blind spot I have at Atlanta running backs, and it would drive me insane if Damian Williams had like a 1,500-yard year somehow.
Wow, Spags finally realizing what diversification means.
I try.
We also need to think about our quarterback in game here. I will say Tunyon. We got 10 seconds. What are you seeing?
I wouldn't mind just taking the talent with Tolbert.
Hang on, let's do Tunyon. Correlates with Madison here, and we need another tight end. I think Tunyon's a little bit of a value.
Do we need another tight end with Tunyon and Schultz?
No. I'm saying we're done now.
Oh, okay. I thought you were saying we should get a third. I was like, that didn't feel that flimsy.
I'm very, very anti 3 tight ends. I need to look at my overall best ball mania thing, but I would guess I only have 1 or 2 3 tight end teams.
I have a few earlier on, but I've pretty much stopped doing that completely just because it feels minus EV, like based on some of the roster construction stuff.
Yeah. This is what I've been trying to say, Chad. This is what the take I've had.
I guess I guess maybe we just know different MILFs. I'm not like a MILF guy. Like people are thinking like, oh, it's like, no, I'm like a, was the stuff we looked at on Friday, the Matt Corral's girlfriend kind of guy. Like that's where I'm at. I'm not MILF hunting.
The Mookie saying those guys only slip because I'm in piss boy rooms. Believe it or not, I do draft more teams than beyond just streams, and those guys reliably seem to slip in my drafts. But at this point, the underdog community is, I don't know, hewing so piss boy anyways that even the streams can't control them. They're everywhere now.
My tight end exposures are so pure, by the way. It's Kyle Pitts, number 1, George Kittle, number 2, Darren Waller, number 3, Travis Kelce, number 4, Mark Andrews, number 5. I'm not playing games at tight end, Pete.
No, yeah, you're not here to make tight end friends.
They don't call it tight end friends. They call it tight end business.
I talked about the onesie positions in the newsletter today, quarterbacks and tight ends specifically. And it is one thing I like about writing is it helps kind of crystallize your thoughts. And, it's like, I've had these thoughts about elite tight ends and quarterbacks for a while, but then you actually start writing it and it really gives you the clarity. And like the 2 big benefits that I talked about is one, just the ability to separate in week 17, where it's like you could have the rotating cast of 3 QBs or 3 tight ends that help get you there. But then when you're in a 1-week DFS like final, you want access to the tight end that has a chance to put up 30 points, because that's going to be how you can separate from the position. And so that's why I land there is, again, it's through that week 17 lens of I want the guy who can put up 30 points when we get there. And I think that definitely pushes me towards so many elite tight end builds.
Yeah, no, I mean, that's definitely my highest exposed construction. I've not played around with elite tight end. That was, we're on the clock here. Gus?
Yeah, I haven't been drafting a lot of Gus lately. Let's just grab him. We are on the clock here. We are done with quarterbacks. Did Akui Boonham fall? No, but we could do Everett as our little bring back with Akers.
Yeah, I like that.
And then we are done with tight ends there. I don't know if I can take another Algier share. You want to do Gainwell?
I could do Gainwell.
I don't know. It's one of those things where I'm just like I'm bored drafting Tyler Algier.
Is this our Trey Lance one?
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah.
Or no.
Yeah, no, let's take a Davis Price then.
Okay. All right. Yeah. I think we're back okay now.
Breathing fantasy football, literally. I'm going to ask because he's very enthusiastic, and I haven't seen his name in our chat before, so we're going to take one from him. So elite tight end builds could be one tight end only drafts, possibly. You're still taking two, right, Pete? Like I don't mind if you take two with the same bye week, but you got to take two.
Yeah, I think we had one, maybe it was a ship chasing draft where we just were not paying attention structurally and we knew we needed an extra running back. So we did just raw dog it with a single Travis Kelsey. But in general, yeah. And also, I also think just a trend this year is that there is kind of good value on some of those mid to late tight ends that I don't find it that hard to get that second tight end. Even like the Hayden Hurst and CJ Uzomas, and if you want to toss on a Mo Alley Cox flyer, like, so I don't know. I normally never am like, oh God, this is so gross. I don't want to get a second tight end. But that said, like I get it. I don't think you're giving up. If you get the Travis Kelsey season that we've gotten in years past, you're really not sacrificing that many points. But I don't think you need to necessarily get that cute.
Yeah, there's always a Logan Thomas in the 18th or a Daniel Bellinger from the Giants rookie. So like I think taking a second tight end, just do it. How about we take Watkins here? I mean, it's weird to have the double.
I don't like Watkins unstacked.
Okay.
Do we want to just take Winston?
Yeah, we might as well. I mean, yeah, I don't know who we're gonna get as targets for him.
I just like Winston at pick 174, I guess.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I think that's reasonable. I like. There's just no target. Like we would have to take Taysom Hill.
Yeah, I mean, these are also spots where obviously you want to stack, but I think we could also, we could think about like Galaxy Brain, like bring back with it, like we could tack on a Quez Watkins or something like that, for if we want to play that game a little bit. And I think it's not the end of the world when you're getting these guys at an extreme value.
Okay, fair enough. I'm always trying to get to a double stack if I can, or at least a single. I just like New Orleans is weird because if you miss out on Olave, you miss out on Landry, you miss out on Thomas. Like there's just nobody else you can go to who might catch a single ball from him.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, we could like we could kick the tires on a Callaway or whoever with the last round pick.
Yeah. Who else is even on their depth chart? I should plug that I'm doing an Osmo best ball or a stochastic best ball stream right after this one. So I'm doubling up on there and going to go back to my old haunt. Though it's weird. Like I'm never going to be able to call it stochastic regularly. Like when you work somewhere, I feel like I just get like, I'm not going to update my bio to be like, oh, formerly at stochastic. Because I wasn't at stochastic.
Wow. This really puts you in a tough spot with your resume.
It does. It's just confusing. I'm gonna have to say formerly Osmo if I ever update my resume at some point.
Do you think what if Barstool did a rebrand and they called themselves Brotastic and then your resume had to be Brotastic and Stochastic former employee?
Boy, people would really look negatively upon me. They'd also be like, oh, pretty appropriate, I suppose. Traquan Smith's still on the Saints. So boy, they have a lot of receivers.
Well, they've thrown a lot of shit against the wall to see what works.
Yeah, not a single one good. They have Marquez Callaway, Traquan Smith, Deontay Hardy, Kevin White, Kwan Baker, Aesop Winston Jr., Kirk Merritt, DeJean Dixon, Rashid Shaheed. It's also
works for me.
Adam Troutman, Taysom Hill, Nick Vannett, Juwan Johnson. A lot of pass catchers, none of them good.
PSA, please stop sending me texts and Discord messages and Twitter DMs asking me if I know where Matthew Berry is going, as if I would tell you.
He's going to hell. He's going somewhere fun, I'm sure. Probably a place that does fantasy sports, if I had to guess.
It seems like a good bet.
He's actually going to go to be a Fox News commentator.
He's going the Lisa Ann route. Let's see here. Oh man, Zach Wilson. How do we pass him up? He has that dog in him. This is gross. Do you want to get Sammy Watkins now?
We could. Jamal Williams also makes sense, I guess, with the bet on Detroit, maybe.
Yeah, let's do Jamal here. Shit, we're on the clock here. We're about to time out. Fuck. Fuck. I'm just putting in Paris Campbell to
Okay.
make sure we don't tie out.
Could have taken Ingram too and hope that he catches one touchdown from Jameis.
I know. I think I probably would have selected Ingram if I didn't get caught there. But Paris Campbell, 12 picks after ADP, always part of the plan. Shit, now we're about to time out here. Are we going to just do the Sammy thing?
Yeah, let's do Sam. I mean, if he's going to keep falling, we might as well.
All right.
Yeah. Matt saying, I assume Barry will co-host the Friday streams. Yeah, he was leaving ESPN to join the show that doesn't have 1,000 subs on YouTube yet, where I make cum jokes for an hour. That's really the step up for Matthew from doing the.
You should build a show.
Him on ESPN.
I do not know.
I think somebody speculated earlier she might have been Bullock saying that it should be me. And look, I'm available, and honestly, very affordable comparably.
Some would say you're maybe too available.
It's true. I'm honestly I'm knocking down doors at ESPN if I can. I got close last summer to getting to go in there, but didn't align timeline wise, unfortunately.
Well, that is kind of a pattern I've noticed with you. You get really close to a gig and then it all falling apart at the last second.
Well, sometimes they pay me, Pete, as part of that process. Sometimes they don't. And ESPN is one that did not.
All right, let's kind of regroup here. We have 2 more picks on this build. We have a 2-5-7-2 with Lance and an unstacked Winston, Breece Hall, James Cook, Madison, Spiller, Edwards. I think we kind of have one luxury pick here, definitely one more wide receiver, and then we could either go 9 wide receivers or 6 running backs.
Okay. I mean, I'll never fault McKissick. I feel like just the floor raising that he gives you in his RB build, I don't mind. Nobody else.
He goes.
Okay. Could take Evans too for the Buffalo bring back. Another Buffalo bring back.
And then why don't we find some random ass Saints wide receiver that we're willing to tack on here?
Insane?
In the membrane. You want to do like Callaway?
Callaway. I feel like Deontay Hardy. I'd rather take a flyer on some fucking random dude.
I mean, these are all pretty random.
That's right. I guess Deontay Hardy was Deontay Harris, and then he rebranded and pulled the wool over all of our eyes.
Yeah. So we'll finish this draft off with whichever. Chat, vote right now. Callaway, Harris, Smith. Who do you want us to take with our last pick?
I feel like everybody's talking up Deontay Hardy, by which I mean right. Bullock posted one thing about Gretsch liking him.
They call us the Hardy Boys. I do remember that Substack that Gretsch had about him. He was like, one of these things is not like the others. And then in this draft, what do we have? We have our last 2 picks. So we're at a 2-5-7-2, similar spot. I think this is a 1 running back and a 1 wide receiver pick. Mm-hmm. How are we looking here with our Denver stuff? We ended up with a skinny stack there. Did we lose? Yeah, we lost Hamler. And then Carr, we just have the skinny stack. Do you want to tack on like a Zay Jones here?
Oh, he's on Jacksonville now. Demarcus Robinson, I don't mind taking in the 17th or 18th.
Fuck. I forgot.
Yeah, Robinson's like, I think he's going to be the number 2 receiver there. Like they did sign him.
Robinson?
Yeah. He's been the one I've been taking when I get boxed out of everybody else. I'm on a Vegas stack, and I want somebody as a bring back. But like, you would think that Renfro plays a slot and Robinson plays outside.
Yeah, and then I mean, we could also do a Kenyon Drake, and then I mean, who are the other? Really? Oh God, Dolchich. There's someone in the player pool named Slade Bolden.
That's a pretty sick name.
Yeah.
Slade Bolden.
Let's see. Let's do DeMarcus. Who do you want for our running back?
I've
been trying to boost my Michelle exposure lately.
Yeah, I'm okay with that. I have so much Mostert that I do take some Michelle, and I don't mind continuing to take a little more here.
There you go, boys. We didn't correlate enough, but it happens.
But you know what? It's a 0 RB build. You know, it still feels good. So you still leave that room feeling like you did something nice.
Let's check in on the votes here in the chat. I see Smith, Harris, Smith, Hardy, Dax, Smith. Actually, a decent amount of Smiths. Callaway, got to be Hardy.
Why is everybody touting Slade Bolden now? Who is Slade Bolden would be the first question.
You don't know who Slade Bolden is? Dude's a beast.
Apparently. Oh, he was a Bama receiver. Okay. That makes sense. Short, though.
There you go. He's going to be part of my all Alabama team that squares off against your all Ole Miss team.
Wait, who is Slade Bolden even on the roster of? Oh, the Ravens. Oh, yeah. He's a Ravens guy, but we don't need the Ravens guy.
So who are we taking Harris? Is that what we decided on?
Yeah.
All right. There we go.
Slade Bolden, I feel like, doesn't come up a lot with that Ravens debate, but we are a pro Shea podcast. I feel like overall we decided.
Yes, we are.
And once we figured out how to pronounce his last name, we were locked in.
All right. These squads have finished.
Okay.
2 puppies. All the haters said it wasn't possible, but like Zach Wilson prom dates, you can juggle 2 things at once.
And hopefully they will age as well as his other interests in life, like a fine wine. But I think these teams that we built are nice little 0RB teams. I think we got unique enough too with reaching at some spots, getting the Cam Akers value, getting the Breece Hall value. I think they worked out fairly well.
They worked out fairly well. Yeah. We did get some pretty extreme value, specifically in this draft here. Akers at pick 60 was nice. What was our other big value pick? I thought we had another big value one here.
Walker was a nice value.
Yeah, Walker. Yeah, they're fine. Yeah, what am I up to? Only 11 puppy drafts.
Okay.
I'll name them. Don't worry.
Thank God you're going to name them. I was really worried you weren't going to name them.
Bonk 1 and Bonk 2.
That's fair. I mean, the issue is that there's going to be a Bonk 3 and a Bonk 4, I'm sure, at some point.
If I've learned anything from podcasting with you, Spags, there's always a bonk around the corner.
That's what we look for here. We appreciate all of you guys tuning in. Of course, make sure you're subscribed to Peach channel as well as the Splash Play channel. Go check out there for the Friday solo streams where I am by myself, floundering sometimes, thriving at other times. Pete, what's the schedule coming up for you?
Nothing tonight. We'll do Club Top Shot tomorrow night. And yeah, the usual fare. Maybe Spags, now that I'm going to be around a little bit more in August because we're going to be, having to figure out our move and all of that stuff. Maybe I'll join you for one of your Splash Play only live stream over there.
Wow. Okay. So make sure you're subscribed over there. Pete won't come over unless there's 1,000 subs. He refuses.
That is actually the thing. That's the goal. If you want me to have a few drinks and get extremely horny on Main Street with Spags, we need to get that channel to 1,000 and then I'll come over there.
All right, so go subscribe to the Splash Play channel if you want to see that happen. I appreciate Pete offering that up without me even asking or begging, pleading over text. But check out Pete's channel, of course, for everything coming up this week. We'll be back with you guys on Thursday at 2:30, so come join us then. Enjoy your weeks, guys. Bye.